Now, last but not least, of the 30,000 nuclear weapons in the world, Russia and America own 97% of them. Did you know that? The real rogue nations, the really wicked nations, are Russia and America. They're the only ones that can destroy life on Earth. There are only 240 cities in the Northern Hemisphere. Since the end of the Cold War, America's even targeted China. Oh, well, you may as well target, China. Why not? They're their biggest trading partner, but target them. Now, there's such a redundancy of weapons. Russia's got 2,500 on hair trigger alert, ready to go. They take half an hour to go from launch to land. New York City has 40 bombs targeted on it, yet they keep talking about terrorists and Osama bin Laden. No one talks about the risk of blowing up New York with 40 hydrogen bombs. 60 are targeted on Moscow, 60 on Washington. You'd have quite a few targeted on you because of the redundancy of the weapons. America's got 5,500 ready to go. The American policy still is to fight and win a nuclear war against Russia. How do you win a nuclear war? You send one missile over that decapitates Moscow and Putin and kills him so he can't press his button. Then you send all your missiles over that land 2 bombs each on each missile silo in Russia and, quotes, kill the missiles. People dying, millions, that's called collateral damage, and the Pentagon doesn't worry about people. We're soft targets, the missile silos are hard targets. Now, the Russians are a bit clinically paranoid about this, and so they've dug a big hole in the Ural Mountains with a missile called the Dead Hand. If, in fact, Putin gets decapitated, they launch the Dead Hand, which sends a signal by radio to every single missile, and the missiles get launched by computer. What if the Dead Hand gets launched by accident or a hacker or a computer error? I want you to imagine 20 minutes ago, we don't know, but the world's in turmoil at the moment. Someone made a mistake. We got to the second highest state of nuclear alert on 9/11, that the button was pressed in Moscow 20 minutes ago, and in 10 minutes, a bomb's going to land on this auditorium, and we don't know because we haven't got CBC radio on. They haven't warned us. Because usually you hear, woo, we are just testing the emergency broadcasting system. Do you hear that ever these days? Right, well, that's how they say, this is not a test, you are under nuclear attack, run to the nearest fallout shelter. So we haven't heard it. The bomb's going to come in at 20 times the speed of sound, we won't hear it. The bomb will explode right here, in this auditorium, with the heat inside the centre of the sun, digging a hole 3/4 of a mile wide and 800 feet deep, turning us and the earth below to radioactive fallout. Shot up in the mushroom cloud. 5 miles from here, every person is vaporized like that little boy. 20 miles out, everyone lethally burnt. Think of where you live. Winds of 500 miles an hour literally suck people out of buildings, turning them into missiles. Windows, popcorn and shards of glass travelling at 100 miles an hour penetrate human bodies, decapitating them and the like. Then the whole area will be consumed in a firestorm, a raging firestorm of 3,000 square miles, even in the middle of winter. And as all the cities in the Northern Hemisphere, China, Russia, Europe, North America, Australia, because we have 34 US bases down there, burn, the cities are full of plastics, wood, chemicals, and a huge cloud of toxic black smoke will rise up into the stratosphere and cover the earth with a cloud so thick it will block out the sun for up to 5 years, inducing a short ice age, and nothing will survive except maybe cockroaches who are very radio resistant, and maybe the algae, mosses, lichen, we don't know. So there are 2 climatic catastrophes facing us right now: global warming and nuclear war that could occur tonight. We did end the Cold War. Then we got Clinton, who was without courage. He didn't fly to Yeltsin, who was an alcoholic and totally compliant, and get him to agree to abolish nuclear weapons. Even now, Kissinger is calling for abolition of nuclear weapons. So what we've been calling for 20, 25 years is starting to hit the mainstream. We can abolish the weapons, And we can't tell any country they can't build nuclear weapons if America and Russia own 97% of 30,000. France has got them. Israel's got the third largest nuclear arsenal in the world, which she'll neither confirm nor deny. She sets a very bad example to all the countries in the Middle East. Why shouldn't they have weapons if Israel does? It's all about power. That's why I called my book Missile Envy. So we can fix everything. We can fix everything. I commissioned this study. Did I tell you about this? Carbon-free, nuclear-free. Had this conference in Washington on global warming and nuclear power. And at the end, a man stood up who was Jimmy Carter's science advisor and said, all the electricity and energy America needs can be carbon-free and nuclear-free by 2050. And I said, you must be joking. And he said, no. So I commissioned a study, raised the money, and this study says that with conservation, America can save 20% of the electricity it currently wastes. You know, they leave their lights on all night, their computers, the whole thing. They use clothes dryers. You should never use a clothes dryer again. Never. Hang your clothes out in the sun in the summer and buy the furnace in the winter. Period. Never use a clothes dryer. They use a lot of electricity. Solar, you are bathed in sun. The government in Canada should install a solar panel on every single house in the country and stop spending money on stupid weapons. Your province is blown by wind. You're just next to the Rockies. Put wind farms everywhere. Farmers love them. They make more money from their wind farms than growing food, but they can grow food and cows underneath the windmills. Oh, but your Minister for Energy said they kill the bats. Well, I said, well, you know, if you have a serious disease, I have to treat you, and it's possible that the drug I give you will have side effects. But if they're not too bad, you've got to live with them, because it'll bring your blood pressure down. You probably won't die of a stroke. Well, he kind of partly got it, but not really. He said, have you heard them? He said, they drive me crazy. I said, why? He said, well, there's noise. Actually, they've developed windmills that make no noise. He said, I don't like the look of them either. He said, if you go to the farmers, they don't like them either. And I thought, that's not true. The farmers love them in America. There's enough wind west of the Mississippi to supply the whole of America with 2.5 times the electricity it currently needs. You are bathed in sun and blown by wind, and you've got geothermal energy for baseline power. You must stop sucking out the oil. You must kick out those American companies, and I kid you not. And they're vulnerable at the moment because they're crashing because they've gone Burko, mad. And the whole of the world economy is crashing because they didn't like to be regulated by government. Government is us. Government is us. The politicians are you. They are your representatives and you are their leaders. You will make that energy minister behave himself. You will educate him if, in truth, he's educable. If he's not, remove him and replace him. Maybe one of you should become the energy minister. Huh? What about that?